Hello, Northeast Lake County. I'm Rob English, the president of the Mount Dora Area Chamber of Commerce, and we're just excited that you guys are joining us again as we honor another veteran. I'm here with Gene Zender today, and what an exciting story he has shared with me before we went on the camera. Gene, just share with me where you grew up and when you went in. So
I grew up in Marion, Ohio.
Yes, sir.
And I was born in Marion, Indiana.
Okay, all right.
And I lived over there for about a year, and then they come to Marion, Ohio. My dad was a blacksmith.
So you went from Marion to Marion, okay?
Marion.
What are the odds of that? I know, really.
So we lived there. I lived there till I was 16, I think, and I quit school.
Okay.
And went to work with my dad in the blacksmith shop. And then I had to, when I went back into service, then I had to go back to school and finish school. Right. So I got
how were you
high school and 1 year of college.
Okay, good. Okay, so how were you when you went in the service?
I was 19 when I was called up for draft, and they told me they'd take me when I was 20. And I told them, watch where I was going now, and they said, just go right now. Sign right here. I signed there, and away I went in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. Go back and tell everybody goodbye, and then you're gone. Yes. Okay, you got your training where? You went to 2 or 3 different places, so tell me about that.
I went to Fort Meade, Maryland for introduction.
Okay.
And got some clothes there, of course. And then we went, they put us on a plane and flew us to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Okay.
And we took 21 weeks of training there.
That's a lot of training.
That's a lot of training. I took 8 weeks of infantry training, and then I took 8 weeks of combat engineers.
Okay.
And I took 5 weeks of carpenter school.
Okay. All right. So your first assignment was where? When you shipped out? Tell me about that.
Well, I got 30 days leave, and in January they put me on a train.
January of 53.
Yeah, 53.
Okay.
And they sent me to California. And when we got I was there about 2 weeks, I think, and they put us on a ship, and away we went to Japan.
Now, before we went on on video, you said you crossed the international date line.
Yeah.
And there was something significant about that. Tell me about that.
I turned 20 years old then.
Yeah. So he crossed the international date line as he turned 20. So actually, he had two 20th birthdays.
20th birthday.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you go to Japan.
And when we went to Japan, I was there about 2 weeks, and they put us on a plane in the middle of the night. And we flew to Korea, and I landed in Korea. It was probably after midnight when we landed over there.
Cold, you were saying?
Yeah, it was 10 below zero or so.
Wow.
And when we got off the plane, there was guys standing about 10 or 12 feet apart all the way around the plane. And they had rifles, of course, and parkas. And we got off the plane and we went into a tent. And then they give us parkas, clothes, and let us sleep for a couple of hours. And then they put us on a deuce and a half and we headed north. We went up northeast of Seoul, and we sat down there. We stopped there at the northeast of Seoul, and we put up tents, and we slept there the first night, and it was 15 below zero.
Whoa, that's cold.
That's cold. And we had these little pot-belly stoves that run on oil. And we had one there in one tent that I was in, and had everything piled on top of me, and I was on a cot, and I was still cold.
Still cold, yeah.
And about that time, somebody fired a rifle right outside my tent, and I come off of that.
Yeah, wow.
It scared me.
So how long were you there? You were saying you built a...
Yeah, we were there 3 months.
Okay.
And when I was walking perimeter guard there one morning it was just turning daylight when I walked up alongside the motor pool, and I run into two guys, two North Koreans.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know they was North Koreans at that time.
Yeah.
But well, the only thing they had on them was they had knives, of course, and we disarmed them. And I had my rifle on them, of course, and I called the sergeant of the guard, and he come over, and I told him who they were. I stopped them there, and so he took them in, and they took them in and questioned them, and they was coming down trying to find a way to bring the army back into Seoul. They wanted to take Seoul back.
So they were wanting to get North Koreans, right?
Yeah.
So they were the advanced spies, right?
So they took them in and they questioned them, and they finally broke down.
Broke them down. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know whether it was strong of a North Korean or not, but
right.
Anyhow, they were spies.
But because they were captured by you guys, they never. You were telling me that they never actually came. They never even advanced and started.
No.
Correct? Yeah.
No, but they was the North Korean soldiers were supposed to come down on that side of Seoul to move it back into Seoul. Well, our company commander said, "Well, we'll hold out as long as we can." And we stayed there, and we held as long as we could. We just stayed right there, and they never showed up. So he said, "Well, if we was going to have to evacuate, we take our air mattresses and put our stuff on an air mattress and swim across the river." And I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
It was still cold.
It's too
well,
cold
it was
to
in
do
March.
That. Yeah. All right. So then you said you left there and you went up north, and you were talking about the Rock Island and everything.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about
that.
that.
Well, we went. I had taken some stuff up north to the front lines there for a tank. Well, it was 4 of us went up, and we took some parts up for a tank track, and they fired on us when we was up there. It was in the middle of the day, and so they told us to get in the bunkers. So we got in the bunkers, and our platoon sergeant there, he wanted to take us out of there. He said, "Come on, we're going to go." So we headed south, and they fired at us 2 or 3 times on the way, but they didn't hit us.
Right.
And we had to drive down in the ditch and up. Wasn't very long we was out of their range.
Yeah.
And so we come on back, and then they moved us over to the other side of Seoul, K-16
Is that
air base.
That's where you built the landing strip that you were telling me
We
about?
had to build extend on the landing strip.
Okay.
And
All right.
that's where my friend was a cat operator, and he slept right beside me. And there was a plane that took off, a fighter plane, and the guns went off. I don't know whether the guy tripped him, he was a new pilot, or whether something happened to him and they went off. And the guy fired on the guy, and killed him.
Killed him, yep.
And so after that we went, a little while later we went up on the northern parallel, 38th parallel on an island. It was a rock island. They called Panyang Do was the name of it.
Okay.
Panyang Do was
Okay.
the way they pronounce
All right.
it. I don't know. And it had rock, and we had to
Rock
blast.
Island,
Yeah,
yeah.
we had to blast them.
With dynamite.
Yeah, and then we had our cats there too. And while we was working there, they fired on us from north of the 38th parallel. They fired on us out there on the island, and they hit one guy. One guy was cranking his cat, and they hit 2 cats away from him, and knocked him off that cat and down on the track of the other one and busted his head wide open.
Wow, gosh.
So they took him to Japan and they put silver plate in his head. He come back, but he didn't stay long.
Right.
They sent him home.
Now, I was asking you before you went on camera how long you were in. You said you served for 11 years. You got out in 1964, and you were staff sergeant when you got out, and then had a career. Your career was with who again? That you said as far as the motor company?
Yeah, I was with a headquarters company out of Marion, Ohio.
Okay.
And we were activated.
No, I'm talking your civilian career after you.
I worked for General Motors.
Yes, sir, General Motors. And
yeah,
then,
I worked 30 years for General Motors and
right.
retired in '89.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so you ended up moving to our area, which is fantastic. And before we went on camera, he shared that he's been involved with the Patriots Cruise, which is a great thing. It takes place the Sunday before Veterans Day, actually, and thank you, Roseanne Abado, for getting that going here locally. It's a great event, and Gene is going to be here again with us for that event. So in closing, Gene, what would you like to share to us today about your service and what it meant to you?
I was proud to be in the service, and I was proud to do what I did, and I'll have a birthday in January. I'll be 86 years old.
Okay, great, good. Well, thank you so much for coming to share with us today. Okay. We look forward to you sharing at our Veterans Breakfast, which is November 7th at Lake Receptions from 7:30 to 9 a.m. It's a great event, as I said. You can buy your tickets at Mount Dora, spelled out, mountdora.com. But if you're a veteran, we invite you and a guest to come complimentary. Go to mountdora.com and order your tickets that are no charge for you and a guest if you're a veteran. Again, I'm Rob English, and we're just proud to be honoring our veterans. We'll be back with you next time.